Urgent in Toronto, another move nobody saw coming, and it could say a lot about the future of this team. Just when the Blue Jays finally seem to have found stability in their rotation, a new decision from the front office has caught part of the fan base by surprise. A former prospect, a name many fans remember fondly, is once again leaving the organization. And at the same time, a new arm is receiving the opportunity he has dreamed about his entire career. The Blue Jays have officially announced the promotion of left-hander Adam Mako to the Major League roster. The news alone would already be exciting, but it came alongside a difficult decision. Right-hander Simeon Richardson has been designated for assignment, opening a spot on the 40-man roster. For those who have followed this team for years, it's impossible not to feel a certain sense of nostalgia. Simeon Richardson was once considered one of the biggest prospects in Toronto's farm system. Many remember exactly where
they were when he arrived in the organization in 2019, coming from the New York Mets in the trade that sent Marcus Stroman away. At the time, it felt like the Jays were building something special. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Alek Manoah, and so many other young talents were emerging. Richardson was part of that group that represented hope for the future. But baseball can sometimes be cruel. In 2021, Toronto made an aggressive decision to compete immediately and sent Richardson to the Minnesota Twins in exchange for Jose Barrios. It was a calculated risk. The Jays needed an impact starter to try to take the next step toward the playoffs. Years passed, and destiny decided to write another curious chapter. Earlier this month, the Twins designated Richardson for assignment, and the Blue Jays decided to bring him back. It felt like a second chance, a kind of reunion between player and organization. And for a few days, it seemed like this story could have a happy
ending. The surface numbers were excellent. In 3 appearances, he put together 10 scoreless innings. For many fans, it was impossible not to think, could this finally be the moment he finds his place in Toronto? But when we looked deeper, the reality was different. His strikeout numbers were extremely low. He struck out only a small percentage of the hitters he faced. On top of that, the walks started to pile up at an alarming rate. In other words, he was escaping trouble more through luck than dominance. The balls put into play simply weren't finding holes. The runners left on base were at a rate that was practically impossible to sustain over an entire season. Statistically, everything pointed toward regression. The coaching staff certainly noticed it. And while Richardson was trying to find his way again within the organization, another reality was taking shape. The Blue Jays are in a completely different situation than they were a few weeks ago. When Simeon arrived,
the team was dealing with uncertainty in the rotation. Injuries had created an urgent need for pitching depth. But now the situation has changed. Dylan Cease is back. Shane Bieber is back. Kevin Gausman remains one of the pillars of this team. Patrick Corbin is available. And Trey Yesavage continues to earn his place and show that he can be part of both the present and the future of this franchise. Suddenly, the need for an extra arm in the bullpen simply disappeared. Last night, Richardson worked 3 innings in relief of Gausman and threw 43 pitches. It was an important effort to preserve the rest of the bullpen. In fact, thanks to his work, virtually no other reliever had to be used. But that very effort may have sealed his fate. After throwing so many pitches, he wouldn't have been available for the next few days. And at a time when every roster spot is precious, the Blue Jays decided to go in another direction. It's a difficult decision to swallow for any fan who loves
redemption stories. Because deep down, many of us wanted to see Simeon Richardson finally succeed in Toronto. We wanted that sports movie script. The prospect who left, struggled, returned, and finally found his place back home. But baseball doesn't always give us the endings we imagine. And now, while one door closes for Richardson, another is opening for a young left-hander who has waited for this moment his entire life. Adam Mako is arriving, and maybe this promotion is much bigger than it seems. For Adam Mako, this isn't just another day in his career. This is the kind of moment that changes an entire life. Every workout, every rehab session, every game in the minor leagues, and every obstacle he faced led him to this point. Now, he will finally wear a Toronto Blue Jays uniform at the highest level of
the roster, something every competitive team looks for when thinking about depth and versatility. The Jays clearly see potential in him. Otherwise, they wouldn't make this move at such an important moment in the season. But while we celebrate the arrival of a new talent, it's also worth reflecting on what happens next for Simeon Richardson. His story is still far from over. Despite his combined 6.40 ERA this season between the Twins and the Blue Jays, there's a reason several teams around the league could still have interest in him, because the recent numbers don't tell the entire story. During the 2024 and 2025 seasons, Richardson logged 245 innings with a 4.11 ERA. Those aren't ace numbers, but they are absolutely respectable statistics for a back-end starter. And right now, several teams across Major League Baseball are desperate for pitching. Injuries are hitting the entire league. The Chicago Cubs are dealing with serious issues. The Arizona Diamondbacks also need
depth. The Kansas City Royals, Los Angeles Angels, and other organizations continue searching for any help they can find for their rotations. That's why it's very difficult to imagine Richardson remaining without an opportunity. In fact, maybe a fresh start is exactly what he needs. Maybe a rebuilding team like the Colorado Rockies could give him a chance to pitch regularly. Maybe another organization sees something in his arsenal that hasn't fully emerged yet. Maybe he simply needs stability. What's most interesting is that he still has 4 years of team control remaining after this season. In a league where pitching depth is worth gold, that's extremely valuable. Someone will certainly do the math. Someone will certainly believe there is still potential to develop. And honestly, as a baseball fan, it's hard not to root for him. Because not every career follows a straight line. Some players need to go through failures, changes, and fresh starts before finding their true
place. Maybe this is just another chapter in Simeon Richardson's story, and not the last one. As for the Blue Jays, the focus now shifts completely. All attention turns to Adam Macko. The organization is sending a very clear message. It believes this young left-hander can help the club right now. And that leads us to an extremely interesting question. Are we looking at just a temporary promotion? Or is Adam Macko beginning to write his own success story in Toronto? On top of that, reports indicate that the Blue Jays may select infielder Sean Keyes in the coming hours, meaning the open roster spot may not remain vacant for long. The pieces keep moving. The front office keeps making adjustments. And when a team starts making difficult decisions like this, it's usually because it believes something important is coming. For now, one thing is certain. Today, we say goodbye, at least for now, to a familiar face. And at the same time, we welcome a new dream. That's baseball. One door
closes, another one opens, and we, the Toronto Blue Jays fans, will be here to follow every chapter of this story.